Hey everybody. So a big part of my work is with people who've experienced trauma. And it could be trauma, something that happened recently that was really bad, or something way in the past. And one of the most important tools we can use for people who've experienced trauma is the tool called grounding. And what it is simply a way to come back into the present moment. And often that's a challenge for people who've experienced trauma. Even though here in the present, everything could be just fine, they could be safe, their nervous system reacts to something in the environment as if they are in danger, as if they were back wherever they were when they were in danger. Often we call these flashbacks. And it could be something that happened to you recently, and even though you're okay, you feel like you're still there. It could be something that happened in your childhood, and even though this was years ago, you still feel the same way. So grounding allows you to come back into the present moment where things are safe. Now, the word grounding kind of gives you a hint about it. The idea of putting your feet on the ground and feeling the ground and knowing you're here right now. It's kind of a very simple grounding technique. I want to give you a few more. And what I want to encourage you to do if you have trauma in your background and you experience overwhelm and being triggered is to build a grounding toolkit where you experiment with some of the things that I'm going to share with you and then collect a few that work for you and have them ready for when you need them. Now, I've written a blog post that's going to go into a lot more detail about how these work, but I just want to highlight a few in this video to give you an idea. And there's sort of different categories of how you can ground yourself, and I'm going to cover those as well. The first is to use your senses. Your senses are a great way to come back into the present moment and ground yourself. One of the simplest, and I've talked about it in another video, is what we call 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is to use your senses to start noticing what's going on here in the present. And so you can start by naming 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. That would be a very simple one. Another one is temperature. So, splashing cold water on your face, taking a cold shower, or putting an ice cube in your mouth will get your nervous system to come back into the present moment. And so that can be a really helpful one. So using your senses is a good way to come back into the present. Let's see. Next, breath. Your breath is a powerful tool for getting you back into the present and helping your nervous system regulate a bit. And there are lots of different kinds of breathing that can help you relax and come back into the present. My favorite is to extend the exhalation. Sometimes it's called straw breathing because it's like breathing in normally, but then breathing out like you're blowing through a straw or like you're blowing out birthday candles. So you simply breathe in normally and then breathe out really slowly. And you'd want to do this for several cycles until you feel your nervous system shifting. Another kind of breath that can help ground you would be to do counting breaths. And a very easy technique would be to start with 10. So you take an inhale and in your head you can say 10 and then let it out. Then 9. Inhale, let it out. And so on to 1. And again, notice if you feel a difference, if you feel your nervous system shifting or regulating a little bit better. So that's breathing. And I have a few others in my blog post. Movement. I forgot about this. This is a great one. Sometimes when we're having a trauma response, we freeze up. We can feel like we're stuck in the trauma. And so movement can help. A simple one can be walking very deliberately. So you literally take some time to bring your foot down, bring it down, bring your other foot down, and move slowly walking and feeling your joints, feeling your leg lift up, feeling your arm swing, doing that and keep paying attention like this is the first time you've ever walked. Another one that can be really helpful, and we see it in animals, is if you feel triggered, if you feel overwhelmed, is to shake. Shake it out. And that can really help release some of the energy, and you can feel your nervous system moving down a bit. Let's see, what else? Objects. Objects is an important one. Again, remember, when we have a trauma response, when we get triggered, it's like we've moved into the past. We're not here in the present. So objects that can help you feel like you're in the present, some people use fidget devices or beads or a touchstone. That can be really helpful. Also, scents can really help. So essential oils, or even just really nice smelling hand lotion, but you put it up to your nose and start smelling it. And that scent can really kind of bring you back into the present. That's a really great one. Let's see, what else? I think I did 5 senses, breathing, movement, and objects. Okay, in my blog post, I'm going to talk a lot more about these, and you can kind of get some other ideas. But what I want to encourage you to do is build a toolkit. Experiment with them to see if you notice the difference. See if they help you feel more grounded. And then you need to sort of prepare this. You need to collect it. If you carry a bag, keep a few of these things with you, or keep them in your office. So if you find the scent one helps, or the beads or the stones help, keep those at work. But practice them to see if they help. And you want more than one, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes one will help, and sometimes it won't. So having 2 or 3 other options is really important. Now, I want to differentiate something. Grounding is what you do when you feel triggered, overwhelmed, like you're having a flashback. Grounding is not the same as coping. Grounding is actually the first step before we start coping. So I want you to think of grounding as the thing that will help get your nervous system back into that zone where you can actually do something about it. Coping is what you can do about it. I say this because often I'll see people try to struggle through but not work very well. It's because they really need to get their nervous system a little more regulated before they do whatever coping skills will help them get through the present moment, whatever they're challenged with. So what I'm going to encourage is try some of these out. See if they help you feel like, okay, I'm back in the present moment. I've got a little more breathing room. I feel like my nervous system came down a little bit. I feel like I'm actually connected here in the present. And then you can determine, what do I need to do now? So again, I'll have a blog post with more about this. And please reach out if you have any questions.